What up, y'all? Welcome to Roll on the Bot. I'm your host, Zach Moore. We're here to film another podcast at a different location. We're currently in my sister's and her husband's house. I'm currently watching their dog. But yeah, I want to watch their dog. Their dog's name is Maverick. It's like some golden doodle, a lot of hair, curly hair. It's almost 1 year old, but fun to hang out with him. Currently Monday night when I'm filming this. So it's a very makeshift style. I don't know how good this podcast is going to be. I'm using this little not cheap, I mean it's cheap mic, so audio is probably not going to be as great. But we're going to go through this podcast. It may not be the most in-depth podcast, but we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about, answer some fan questions, and call it a day. So, the truck race, well, speaking of the truck race, I mean, overall this entire weekend was just wild. Because of the racing on track, and especially the Xfinity Series race, which we'll talk about. But before we get to all the action, I mean, congratulations to Denny Hamlin. What a drive by him. First time winning at Martinsville in over a decade. First time next gen. First win for Progressive. Then Austin Hill in the Xfinity Series race. Wild race. But Austin Hill gets his second win of the season. His second win of the season. And then Daniel Hamlin gets his first ever Truck Series career win. That's amazing. That's awesome. Congrats to him, man. So 3 unique winners. Yeah, I enjoyed my time watching racing this past weekend. Hopefully you guys were able to watch some. Let's get into the truck race. So on my list here, it's on the bottom part. So Daniel Hamlin wins his race. He had a nice late race battle there with Tyler Ankrum. He passed Ankrum clean and was set sail for the last couple laps there to win that race. Yeah, I guess really only 4 laps because he only led 4 laps in this race. But it's great for Daniel Hamlin. I mean, quickly on Daniel Hamlin. For him to get this win for himself is a big deal. I mean, his only other win is when he won the championship. Is when he won the championship. And now my dog here, Maverick, is trying to come on. Hey, Mav, how's it going? Daniel Hamlin, back to the conversation. Daniel Hamlin was trying, I'm losing my train of thought, guys. But Daniel Hamlin, he gets his first career Truck Series win. His only other win besides that was the 2021 Xfinity Series Championship race. He won that race and beat Austin Cindric. Hey, quiet, okay? Boy, this could tell you guys it could be a rough podcast. But he, beat Austin Cindric to win the championship. And that was his only other win. that was his only other win, Hey. Hey. She wants to lay down. He can lay down. But that was his only other win, guys. And it's just great for him to get back in victory lane. He was in the Cup Series past couple of years. Didn't really work out there for him and calling. But he was able to revive his career now and go to a competitive Truck Series team and win there. And that's great. And that's awesome. And I'm happy for him. But look, Cory Heim was going to win this race. He was levels above the field, dominating both stages. It was a snooze fest. But then, late in this race, there was a late race restart. I think it was the stage 3 restart. I'm trying to think here. If I look at the cautions, the end of stage, I'm trying to think here. The end of stage 2, okay, there was an accident in turn 1. And that was, I think, at the end, what happened there is Cory Heim, he gets a solid restart, but not a great restart. And it seemed like Ken Honeycutt and Ty Majeski kind of ganged up on Cory Heim and just were almost like, you're not winning this race. We're not letting you win this race, pretty much. And Ty Majeski, I think Ken Honeycutt made contact to him and he cut Cory Heim's tire, and then Ty Majeski punted him a bunch of times, him in the back, him in the rear end of the car and rear end of the truck, and pretty much spun out Cory Heim. And then Cory has a chance to win the race just like that. And I was not a fan of that because I get it. It was almost like, they made the way they were racing him was like, oh, you're so good. The only way we can beat you is by roughing you up here. And they did. And that's how pretty much Cory Heim lost his race, because he got raced too hard. And it was cool to know that Cory kind of took the blame in the sense that he should have had a restart. He should have never given those guys, Caden and Ty Majeski, Caden Honeycutt and Ty Majeski, a chance. So it's great for him to take responsibility. But still, he should have never gotten raced like that. I don't think it was fair. Um, Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, currently Maverick, this dog I'm watching, is on my lap right now. So this is a first time podcast, but we're not going to complain about it because he likes to lay here. He's going to lay here. But that was kind of a truck race. I mean, the top 10 from that race was Daniel Hemrick first, second, Tyler Ingram, third, Jake Garcia, fourth, Chandler Smith, fifth, Ben Rhodes, sixth, Cory Heim, seventh, Andreas Perez de Lara, eighth, Rajah Ruth, ninth, Stuart Friesen, and 10th, Lawless Allen. But I will say, at the end of this race, after that Cory Heim situation, there was a good, multiple cautions in that final stage. And I was worried, it was going to turn into one of those races where it was just caution after caution, and it was going to be, sloppy, looked like a clown show. And it wasn't as bad until we get to the Xfinity Series race, guys. And then this is where we really got to start talking. This Xfinity Series race, guys, was not a great look for the sport. It was a bad look for the sport. Some of the stats from this Xfinity Series race, guys. Cautions. There was, this is the wrong one. Scroll up here. Okay, here we go. So, some stats from this Xfinity Series race. There was a total of 14 cautions for 104 laps. 104 laps. 104 laps of caution. This race was 200. This race was 250 laps. This is almost half the race was spent under caution, man. And 14 cautions, man. That's what tells you how bad this Xfinity Series race was. And the mistakes drivers were making. The final stage was a mess, man. It was a bad look for the sport. It was an embarrassing look for the sport. We saw veterans in the Xfinity Series make just stupid moves. Like Sam Mayer, he caused a multi-car accident there. And exiting turn 2, he's on freaking Christian Eckes' bumper. And it's just like, what are you doing? You're pushing him, and then he gets spun, and I think the guy was trying to avoid it. They made contact, big wreck, big hits, man. It was just stupid, man. Stupid stuff. And then you had the whole situation with Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray going at it and feeling like they owe each other one. And that was kind of how all these accidents came to be about, guys, is that it seemed like people were just, all they see is red. These young drivers, all they see is red. And they just feel like, I got to get that guy back, so I'm going to bump him. I'm going to rough him up. And it's just a bad look, and that's, And look, guys, I don't even know what their NASCAR can really do. Well, I have suggestions, but I heard that there's a chance that there could be penalties out Tuesday for the Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray incident. I thought it was funny how Jeff was like, I guess, Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith, they were talking back and forth. They were arguing back and forth in the infield. I think they had an altercation in the care center and there was security. But Jeff Gluck from The Athletic is like, they should just fight. If they fight, one person gets punched in the face, falls down. Well, maybe next time that guy won't rough that guy up because they don't want to get punched in the freaking face. That's the way you can do it. But then that can get a little sloppy, and you just can't have these guys like just free for all, throwing down punches. But I do feel like the security needs to maybe let these guys get a little closer to each other. Maybe, I don't know. But they did let the guys talk, but they weren't gonna let it go any further than that. But yeah, I think personally, they need to start, policing it. In my opinion, they gotta police this. But I will say is that, look, was the race entertaining? Yes, but it was entertaining for the wrong reasons. It was like, if you want to go watch a Demolition Derby, go watch a Demolition Derby. A Demolition Derby should not be on your TV and have the name NASCAR Xfinity Series on it. In my opinion, it should not have it. Should not have it. Should never ever have that type of racing. And Austin Hill, I mean, congrats to him. I mean, he survived. I mean, he kind of plowed his way in there. He was on third car on the bottom lane, and we saw it. Sammy Smith said, "I'm not going to let Tyler Gray win this race," and he just plowed his car in there. Tyler Gray goes spinning. Sammy Smith has his front end smashed, and looked like Justin Allgaier got pushed up from Austin Hill. And then here comes Austin Hill, sneaks in there, and Austin Hill was making enemies too. He was not making any friends either in this race. But personally, I think NASCAR needs to find a way to police this. And I don't like the fact that if we get a penalty Tuesday, tomorrow, or this morning, today, when this is out, we get a penalty about this. I don't like that the penalty that we're penalizing guys 3 days after the race. It should be at the racetrack. Okay, you intentionally wrecked this guy. You deserve to go in the back. You're done. Okay, it's very simple. I think, man, it's not really that simple, guys. I mean, a bump and run, you could bump a guy, he just goes up the racetrack, right? But then you can also bump a guy, he can get spun out. So that guy, it can really depend on, how severe. The bump could be maybe the same degree, but just the way the car is, if the cars aren't handling great, the tire wears a little bit more, the car could spin out. So it is a hard situation, but I do feel like I will say this. I'm kind of going in circles here. I think NASCAR, if they're going to do anything, they got to make the decision at the racetrack. At the racetrack. That's all I will say. If you're going to penalize a guy, make the decision at the racetrack. Do not make it 2-3 days after. And I'm worried that this penalty coming up, that'll be announced today when this is out, that could involve it in a Sammy Smith penalty. Because I think that's what they're going to be looking. They're looking at the Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray incident. That is what they're looking at. I believe so. Now, we get to the Xfinity race overall. I kind of blew by the truck race. I apologize if you want me to talk about that more. But Cory Heim dominated until people got in the way there. Got to keep my mic close to my mouth. There we go. We got to keep scrolling. Okay, yeah. So, our top 10 from the Xfinity race was Austin Hill first, second, Sheldon Creed, third, Justin Allgaier, fourth, Brendan Poole, fifth, Sam Mayer, sixth, Dean Thompson, seventh, Daniel Dye, eighth, Ryan Sieg, ninth, Chris Wright, and 10th, Sammy Smith. Shout out to Brendan Poole. Shout out to Dean Thompson. Great runs for those organizations. Alpha Prime Racing in the number 4. Brendan Poole survives. Dean Thompson in that SHR car. That's awesome for him. Great for him. Great run for Ryan Sieg. Chris Wright, too. Really, it's like, the end of this race was like a end of a Talladega Daytona race. It was a massive, big one, and some people were able to survive and get through it and cross the finish line where they were, and that was awesome. But yeah, I would say, Taylor Gray, no. Connor Zilic led 100 laps. Yeah, Connor Zilic dominated this first half. It was kind of like truck race. Cory Heim dominates stage 1 and 2. Connor Zilic dominates stage 1 and 2. But then they both, in their respective races, have damage and get involved in instances that ruin their day. Some not by their doing. Really, neither of them were by their doing. I think Connor Zilic got some damage when there was a car spinning in front of him. I forget what car, and he was following Brandon Jones, which was the leader at the time, and Brandon Jones checked up, but Connor didn't check up, and that caused damage for Connor Zilic. But yeah, not really much for this Xfinity race besides just a mess. And I think NASCAR needs to do something, and I hope they do it. And if they do anything, let it be the last time we make a decision 3 days after a race. Make it at the racetrack. Make it at the racetrack. Or let the drivers fight more. No, don't let the drivers fight. I'm joking about that one. But that was the Xfinity race. That was a really quick. Guys, I apologize. I'm really kind of going through this quickly because I have a dog on my lap right now. And I'm not trying to spend too much time. It's going to get to the bread and butter. So, all right, now, guys, we're here to talk about the Cup Series race. Got a lot going on here. The dog I'm watching. He's getting a little whiny. He's starting to whine a little bit. It's starting to get a little late. But we're going to make do with what we got here. I apologize if this is not what you expected for a Roll the Bottom podcast, but it is what it is. But look, I'm here. We're here. We're talking. But yeah, Cup race. Denny Hamlin leads 274 laps, dominating this race. Wow. People said that Denny's getting old. He's 44. He has no sponsorships. He's gonna lose his ride. He's not good enough anymore. He has a new crew chief. everyone's saying Denny doesn't have any moral. That's stuff. All the haters. Looks like the haters had to eat their words. Denny Hamlin, 11 against the world flag. He threw out there winning a sick burnout. All is right with the world. It feels like, I love when Denny Hamlin, he talked about how if he can't trash talk it, he loses his superpower. And I mean, Denny Hamlin, I just love his personality and the way he just talks. He just creates so much great engagement for the sport, I feel like. And some people will find it, oh my gosh, how dare a 44-year-old make all this cringy content and all this kind of stuff. They'll complain, whatever. But then he creates engagement, and he gets people talking, and that's what NASCAR would love, and that's what NASCAR needs. I wouldn't say Denny. I think Denny is kind of in the middle. He gets all the people that boo him, but then there's a lot of people that kind of cheer him. They kind of like him, I think, especially depending on what side you're rooting on when it comes to this lawsuit with NASCAR too. So there's a lot of things that Denny Hamlin's involved with that I think you can either like or hate. But yeah, I mean, impressive drive by him. He didn't win at Martinsville in over a decade. That was the Gen 6 car. For him to come not a decade later, 9 years later, I guess you could say, to win Martinsville again, and also first win for him in the next gen. He said they came with a whole new setup, a whole new approach, and it seemed like it worked out. Pit stops were good. Everything by Denny Hamlin was just flawless execution. First win for him and Chris Gale. Denny loses his crew chief, loses Chris Gabehart. He's now the competition director, and it seems like that move for Jacobs Racing is playing out very well. Already 4 wins in 7 races for Jacobs Racing. So everything right now is great for Jacobs Racing. It's great for Denny. That's great. Denny's 44, right? How long will they be able to race and be competitive, right? How many more years does he have? Who knows? I think Denny has said that, like, once he knows he's not as competitive anymore, that's when he'll know it's time to move on and just focus on running a race team and not driving anymore. But that's kind of Denny Hamlin part. Chase Elliott, I felt like was the second best car, but then he kind of fell off, lost in track position there. In pit cycles, there's a lot of kind of strategy going on where he kind of lost his step there. He said, I think after stage 2, when he wasn't able to pass Denny on newer tires, that he knew the race was over. He felt like track position was important, and that's what it looked like. I mean, Denny did a great job on restarts. There was multiple restarts at the end of this race, and then he did a great job. Multiple restarts with Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, and then he just did a great job. He also did a really good job in lap traffic. He was able to get by cars really well, and other cars, Christopher Bell was struggling. Bubba Wallace struggled to get by a lap car. So everything just played out in Denny Hamlin's, I wouldn't say favor, because he did a great job. He freaking cooked the field. He dominated this race. 274 laps on a 400 lap race. Domination. Domination by Denny Hamlin. Just impressive. Impressive by him. So our top 10 for this race was Denny Hamlin first, second, Christopher Bell, third, Bubba Wallace, fourth, Chase Elliott, fifth, Kyle Larson, sixth, Ross Chastain, seventh, Ryan Preece, eighth, Joey Logano, ninth, Chase Briscoe, and 10th, Todd Gillen, 11th, Ryan Blaney, 12th, Michael McDowell, 13th, Ty Gibbs, 14th, Tyler Reddick, 15th, Ty Dillon, 16th, Zane Smith, 17th, Kyle Busch, 18th, Austin Dillon, 19th, Carson Hocevar, 20th, Ricky Stenhouse, 21st, Daniel Suarez, 22nd, William Byron, 23rd, AJ Allmendinger, 24th, Chris Buescher, 25th, John Hunter Nemechek, 26th, Brad Keselowski, 27th, Alex Bowen, 28th, Justin Haley, 29th, Noah Gragson, 30th, Cody Ware, 31st, Riley Herbst, 32nd, Josh Berry, 33rd, Cole Custer, 34th, Shane Van Gisbergen, 35th, Casey Mears, 36th, Burt Myers, 37th, Austin Cindric, and then 38th, Eric Jones. Eric Jones was DQ'd for being too late during post-race inspection. He was 24th, now finishes 38th. So not great for Eric Jones. Lazy Miracle needs to find some speed, I feel like, especially compared to their Toyota teammates. They're far off. Austin Cindric. We got to talk about Austin Cindric in this race. He had a battery issue, lost a battery in the race, and that's what I guess cost him to be DQ'd. Not DQ'd, but DNF. I guess Team Penske ran out of batteries. They had no more batteries left, and he lost a battery. We had some battery issues. I think one was from Josh Berry because during a pit stop. He was pulled out, and then here came Bubba Wallace, and him in the driver's side door. I guess that was kind of where the battery was, so he lost power there. And now Austin Cindric, he was 3 wide there with a couple of drivers. I believe it was Riley Herbst on his outside, and then he was in the middle. I forget who the car was on the inside, but it looked like he got a little mad, kind of got squeezed. It was a 3 wide. It was not great. He felt like he kind of got wrong there, and it looks like an intentional. He kind of spun out Riley Herbst. It almost kind of looks like he did that. He was kind of mad, but I don't know, man. To me it looks like intention, but we don't know with the S&T data if it was intentional by Austin Cindric. He did get penalized during. I think he was penalized $50,000 and like 25 points, I believe. Could have been. I think no. Excuse me. It was 50 points and $50,000. He was fined for right hooking Ty Dillon. A lot of people thought he should have been suspended because a right hook is a right hook to most drivers, no matter what speed or what track you're at. So that'll be an interesting storyline to talk about. Where else could we talk? Alex Bowman, 27. He had a bad pit stop. I think it was a loose wheel, and I don't think it was. I think it was. He had a loose wheel. He had to go down pit road. I think he lost a lap or two. So that was not a great look. Also, Bragaslowski, 26, man, bad strategy. It looked like that cost him the finish there. Chris Buescher also 24th, not great there for him. William Byron also. There was a caution. There were some guys making some pit stops. And I think Brad was involved in that, and William Byron was involved in that. And the caution came out. They were already, I think they were 2 laps down or whatever. So that strategy killed them. I forget. I think it was for debris. Is that right? Or a spin? I forget. I'm all over the place with this one. But that stinks. Strategy. Yeah, there was a lot of strategy with the tires and the way people were playing the tires. I think cost a lot of guys good finishes. Kyle Busch 17th. Austin Dillon 18th there. Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs got spun by Tyler Reddick, but still finishes 13th. So Ty Gibbs has speed, but he has to have the execution down, I think, in order for him to continue to be, I guess, to continue to put good finishes, I guess, together, you should say. I think he definitely has the speed to win races, but like I said, execution will be important. So at least a good rebound after getting spun there. Ryan Blaney, the guy who's so good here in the fall, doesn't have it here in the spring, but still a solid finish there, 11th. Todd Gillen, another top 10 at Martinsville for Todd Gillen. That's awesome. Chase Briscoe, 9th, 8th, Joe Logano. Ryan Preece, 3 top 10s in a row for Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is proving the haters wrong. That's awesome. That's great for Ryan Preece. Really awesome for him. Ross Chastain finishing 6th. Solid day. He had a really bad finish last week. I think he finished in the 30th at Homestead. Way to rebound with a nice top 10 there. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, they were kind of the guys in that top 10. They stayed in top 10 all day. Great run for Bubba Wallace. Now, Bubba Wallace is putting on some really good finishes. His new crew chief, Charles Denke, they're hitting on all cylinders right now. I think there's a good chance that this new crew chief change is paying off. This new crew chief change is paying off for Bubba Wallace, and that's awesome. That's great for him, and I think he could easily, if he continues to have these good finishes, who knows? There could always be here and there a win. A win happens, pulls off a win, gets a little lucky with some strategy. Right there, man. Christopher Bell was on the pole for this race, but finishing second, 11:25 laps, solid. Chase Elliott, like I said, we already talked about him. Had a good first half car, but the second half kind of was not really where the 11 was. Track position wasn't really there. But yeah, like I said, those tires didn't wear as much as maybe we thought they were going to wear. But yeah, that was kind of the cup race, guys, in the whole. There was a lot of cautions in this race. A lot of angered drivers. Joey was angry at Ross. Looked like Noah was angry at Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher went over a curve and got airborne there, made contact with Noah. There was a lot of drivers mad with each other. The aggressive racing at the end. I was worried. There was a lot of cautions there in the end. There was 10 cautions in this race. That's a lot of cautions, okay? I was worried that it could have had, a Xfinity Series race feel, but it was still easily, I think, the cleanest race of the weekend. Maybe the truck race was a little bit cleaner. Let me see here. The Cup race had 10 cautions. The Xfinity Series race had 14. And, okay, yeah, the Truck Series had 10. Now you gotta think about it. Truck race only had 200 laps. Xfinity was 250 and Cup was 400. So really, the Cup race was the cleanest race because there was fewer cautions for more laps. But yeah, that was kind of that's a quick summary of what we saw this past weekend at Martinsville. Very quick, guys, very quick. Not the most in-depth detail of this race, but really, congrats to Denny. That's a big momentum. Same thing with Daniel Hemrick. First Truck Series win for him. That's awesome. It's incredible for Daniel Hemrick. And then Austin Hill just survives the mayhem at the Xfinity Series race. Survives the mayhem in the Xfinity Series race. Now, some fan questions. We're going to go from P_Philly. Did you like the aggressive style of the Xfinity Series race? Or were you more towards people need to show more class? I think I like the aggressiveness, but it was way out of control. It was a clown show. We don't want clown shows in NASCAR. People, if fans like that, that's great, I guess. But then I feel like you're there more for the entertainment of this. Like, if you like a Demolition Derby, go watch a Demolition Derby. Don't, you shouldn't expect a Demolition Derby in the Xfinity Series. That's kind of what it was. I want more class. I mean, I want the sport to be taken serious, and I want the best drivers and best teams that put the best weekend together to be rewarded with victory and be the ones that are competing for the win. I don't like when drivers that were so dominant, like a Cory Heim was so dominant in the truck race, and then he gets raced really hard and gets a tire flat and gets spun out because he was so dominant, and then drivers racing hard. I just don't like that. I want the best drivers, best teams to race for these wins. And look, short track racing in Martinsville is known for the bump and run. But what we saw this past weekend, especially in the Xfinity Series race, was far from that. And I think, like I said in this podcast, NASCAR, if they're going to penalize people, do it at the racetrack. Do not do it multiple days away, multiple days removed from the racetrack. Do not do it on a phone call, because that's how they're going to do it. If NASCAR penalized Sammy Smith for what he did at the end of the Xfinity Series race, VA through an email or a phone call, I don't like that. It should be at the racetrack. That's how I feel about that kind of stuff. Now, we keep going through with these fan questions. I appreciate when you guys send in questions. Thoughts on the tires using the same compound as they did in the fall didn't seem to work for the spring race this year. Yeah, I don't think the tires, I don't know the temperature. I mean, it's not super warm in the fall. I mean, this is around the same temperature, I felt like. It might have been a little more cloudier in the spring, but there's a lot of things that go into that. Yeah, it didn't seem the tires fell off as much. But also, the more times you run a tire, the teams figure out how to maximize those tires and how to save those tires. So I do think, Goodyear could go softer and softer, but we don't know when does Goodyear max out and how soft it can go with these tires. I mean, personally, I'm not going to really lie about this one. Like, why doesn't NASCAR just give all these teams like 15 sets of these rain tires or something? Because the rain tires are the only ones that are showing that they can really fall off, like really, really fall off. But that would be kind of insane, and that would also probably cost the teams a lot of money, and maybe also put on another clown show, maybe. But also, like I said, there's one thing NASCAR hasn't done yet. They haven't tested horsepower. And that's the one thing they haven't really gone into. And I know they don't want to because of money and all that kind of stuff. But if NASCAR doesn't think they can get any softer with these tires, they should try testing out horsepower. If it doesn't do anything, then move on from it. But yeah, the tires did not wear as much as we thought. But then, I mean, if NASCAR continues to use this tire at different tracks, does it wear more at different tracks? Depends. First, Martinsville has concrete in the curbs. It's concrete, not asphalt. I'm not sure if they've used this tire yet at all at any other track. I think this is the only time. I think this is the first time this season they've used this same tire. It might just be the Martinsville tire. We'll see there. But yeah, maybe try some different. Maybe try the same tire at a different track, maybe like asphalt, like a Richmond. Richmond would be interesting to see how that tire fall off there is with this tire, and especially New Hampshire too. Some of the flatter short tracks. Next question, do you think Brad Keselowski or any of the RFK drivers can get a win or make it into the playoffs? Well, right now, Brad, who's my guy, he's not looking too great. I think he's still 30th in points. He needs a win. We're coming to Darlington this weekend, a place that he won last year. So this is Brad's a great shot for him to turn the season around and get a win. Personally, I think Chris can easily get a win. He's been the best RFK car since Brad's gotten there, in my opinion. But then Ryan Preece has knocked down 3 top 10 finishes. I wouldn't be surprised if the season continues. More races for Ryan Preece, more experience with RFK, a short track. I could see Ryan Preece get a win. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would expect Chris Buescher to be the first person to get a win for RFK, in my opinion, unless Brad can do it this weekend at Darlington. But that's also a track that Chris Buescher is really good at. So that's kind of how I see it with RFK. But also, when it comes to the short tracks right now, it looks like Jogo's Racing has the short tracks on lock right now, in my opinion. But if we continue, another fan question. Do we have any more fan questions? I think I had 3. Aaron Jones was DQ'd. Yeah. So yeah, that was actually it for the fan questions, guys. And that's it for the podcast. We blew by this. We freaking blew by quickly. This podcast was like, I'm just trying to get to my points. I got a dog I'm trying to worry about. So I apologize if this is not your typical. Maybe you wanted me to go in a little more detail or some things. I apologize. But we'll see what comes from this weekend. If we get any big penalties tomorrow or today when I'm filming this, it's Monday night. The freaking podcast comes out Tuesday morning. We'll see if we get anything penalty-wise, and then we'll talk about it. But besides that, it's throwback weekend next week. Looking forward to that, guys. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys following along. Love doing these. We'll see how Darlington turns out. But yeah, stay tuned to more content this weekend. I'm going to be keeping up with all the NASCAR news. So check out my TikTok, Instagram. Instagram is my most important. That's my biggest follow. I have like 5,000 followers on there, and that's the one I try to focus the most on. So if you're watching this and you follow me on TikTok, go check me out on Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.